Kind of nervous to try it wrong. This feels like deja vu. We were here a few weeks ago working on movement forward and getting our timing correct. Now, we've had a lot of questions come up about this idea of not getting behind the bike. A lot of people say, well, you know, I see videos of you riding, I see pictures of you riding, and sometimes it looks like you're behind the bike. So we just wanted to kind of address this question about what's actually going on when we're descending down something steep. I know it used to be really common with coaching that coaches would coach riders to get back before a steep descent. And this is actually the most common rider mistake that happens on steep descents. People get scared and usually they don't move forward too soon. Usually they don't move forward at all. Usually they just move backward, right? And if we retreat rearward, we're going to be pulled forward into the drop. Now, we're not going to get too much into that today. We've covered that in other videos that you can reference here. But what we are going to discuss today is kind of the role of the magic carpet.
Yeah, I've been hearing about this magic carpet and I still don't know what it is.
Well, you've ridden on the magic carpet ride before, like when you're riding really well and you feel super confident. So the magic carpet is an imaginary magic carpet, but it's real. Okay, so let me explain.
Okay.
So I've got my feet set level when I'm going down terrain, right?
Yes.
And the bicycle can rotate underneath. But really the magic carpet is just floating down over the terrain like this, right? So my foot base is remaining very consistent, right? So the role that the pedal spindles play and the role that the bottom bracket plays allow this system to be completely unique. So when I'm coming down a steep hill, the foot base is really coming down. It's kind of like an escalator ride. So that's what we're going to work on today. And what we're going to realize is that if we get back too soon, we're going to be kind of pulled around on that magic carpet. We're not going to just be centralized over it the whole time. And actually it's super, super dangerous because I could actually be pulled forward over the bars. If I get back far enough before a descent, I'm going to be pulled forward as my front wheel drops down into the descent, right? Same thing can happen from just being tense. Today I do want to explain why it can appear that we're back on the bike. And while the saddle might be in front of me, the really important distinction here is that I'm not moving behind the saddle's moving in front of me. I'm not moving behind the saddle's moving in front of me. For today, we're going to be talking about the timing of moving into descents a little bit, kind of like we did last time here when we were talking about moving forward. But we're really going to particularly address this idea of why does this seat appear in front of me and how I am actually staying over the bottom bracket when I'm doing this, and just the rotation of the bicycle around its own bottom bracket and around its own magic carpet is changing the way that it looks in relation to the rider's body. Like we will see the seat appear in front of the rider.
Yeah. So this goes back to a comment you made in a past episode where you said that photos ruined mountain bike coaching or mountain bike technique because what you see is a rider with the bike in front of them, and the question is, how did it get there? How did it get there?
Exactly. And so we've covered this before, but really what I'm hoping to do now is just to come back and like really treat these things one by one, because these are things that not only come up a lot in questions, but these, when I'm watching riders ride, I'm like, these are the things I'm seeing all the time, right? And we're really trying to build this base, and this base is built on top of the platform of our bicycle, which is our pedals, right? And that's all based over the bottom bracket, right? So we want to have like as solid a possible foundation as we can. We want to be as relaxed as we possibly can, knowing that this foundation is there to support us in a variety of different ways. So let's get started here.
Cool.
Play around a little bit.
All right.
I'm kind of nervous to try it wrong.
Now class, what have you learned today?
Well, in summary, it feels good when it's getting summery.
We waited so long.
It's been a long time coming, unless you live in Mexico in the winter. All right, so the point of this is not being preemptive with our movements over the bicycle. It's really easy to try to think two moves ahead, and when we get into that kind of a way of moving, it becomes clunky, it becomes kind of rigid, and we overthink things. So this is more about just understanding where and when we want to move in order to stay over the platform of our bicycle, so that our magic carpet can float effortlessly down mountains.
Yeah, no, it makes so much sense now. When you first said it, I had no idea what you're talking about, but to me it feels like how the fact that you're centered on your bike and your tires are moving allows you to have a smooth transition between everything on the trail.
Absolutely. I mean, like, you know, the thing that I'm constantly talking about in my classes is just by sheer luck, how the system that is required for this to be a pedal-driven vehicle also makes it so amazing off-road, and this is just one example of that.
Because you think about a dirt bike going down a pitch like this, and all of a sudden the rider's feet are pitched forward, but for us, we get to keep our feet level, and so we're up here, and even though the bike's doing some crazy things, we just go down like this.
Exactly, and starting to bring that into kind of your mental realm and growing your confidence in the vehicle that you're on is a super helpful thing.
So what I take away from this is that when you're approaching the lip, you come in, you're standing tall, you drive your knees forward to collect your arms, the bike rolls out naturally underneath you, and so this allows you to have a smooth motion and also keep your feet level without getting jerked around or pulled off the back of your bike.
Absolutely, yeah, I mean, like, we can be too far forward, we can be too far back, or we can be in just the right place. And as it turns out, it's actually not that complicated to get in the right place on the bike for descents. You just want to start small and work your way up as you go.
Yeah. Cool, thank you.